Are you consistent in your work? This is something I'm going to talk about today. It's very close to my heart at the moment because I have been extremely intermittent and splayed with my focuses and energies, and I think it's the same for a lot of us who have an intention or have a desire to create something, but then other things get in the way, and we might have a project, we might have something that we're doing, but the actual day-to-day practice and action towards that can be quite fractured and it can feel very slow. And there's different times in my creative journey where I've had to just sort of put the blinkers on and block everything else out. And one thing that was super useful for me at this time was the should I do something flowchart. So you can't see at the top here because it's faded, but it was the question that I would ask myself. This was when I decided to really create my first album and release it and package it up and get the production sorted and actually like get it out there as Geraldine Tennell First Love 2021, rather than just having like random bits of recordings on like SoundCloud under the name Terrapin, and then also just having like some things on Spotify but then they expired, and you know, it was like it just made it difficult for me to actually share my work and say that I was a musician and you can like listen to my music and live that as a lifestyle when I didn't actually have any presence of that. And I actually had a coach in my job at Westminster, so I had a job lecturing. I was a full-time foundation art and design lecturer, and I sort of co-ran the course. And through that job, because I was a fully employed member of staff, I got access to free career coaching, and my coach helped me to identify that I had all these things that I was putting on the back burner. I didn't actually talk to her about anything in relation to my job, which kind of said it all in terms of the fact that I was like doing this job full time, but a lot of my passion and preoccupation was with my own creative expressions and ventures. And I decided that I had like lots of little hints of ideas, little sparks of inspiration, plans, things that were written on pieces of paper, and then I wasn't actually getting a sense of satisfaction of releasing those and having them out in the world because they were just sort of stuck before they were fully in the world. And this is feedback I also got from my one of my favourite tutors on my degree course. When I did art, it was all about how have lots of like things going on, but things aren't quite, it's like I have a fear of finishing them. And I think this comes from lots of different places, but I'll just talk about this short solution first, which was this chart for me. At the top it said something like, will doing this thing contribute directly to supporting and finishing and releasing First Love? That was the name of the album. And if it was yes, it would be do it in alignment with particular album priorities or workflow. If it was no, I'd make myself consider like, is this a once in a lifetime like career opportunity? Is it a once in a lifetime activity? Is it worth the time investment for the impact it'll have? And do I actually even want to do it anyway? And I'd really have to ask myself like yes or no. So if it was yes, I'd schedule and prioritise it for after my album, or if it was no, I would be saying like don't do it right now, I can always reevaluate in 6 to 12 months, and no ruminating. So I have this tendency to like look at all the possibilities of things that I could do rather than doing the things that I've already decided to do. So I kind of like get an idea and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to do that. And then I'll be like, okay, I'm going to look on artsjobs.ac.uk, or I'm going to look on Curator Space and see what opportunities there are, or I'm going to look on blah 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 and apply for this and that. And I'll just end up getting distracted. Like, I'm pretty sure that during the time when I was being like, yeah, I'm going to make my album, I was seeing like random, there was like a PhD program, like a funded PhD topic that I was like, oh, I could write a proposal. And I was like, I said I'll make my album. Like, if I'm going to do a PhD, it's not going to be just like reactively in response to some advert for a random PhD topic that I have no interest in. And why do I have this tendency to like do? So it's like about the focus and the blinkers and whatever your attentional situation with your attention focus skills or your attention deficit. that we all are suffering from somewhat these days. I think having a capacity and ability to put the blinkers on when you want to and get things finished and out there when you want to is really important. I think I just want to name something, which is that I think a lot of this intermittency and inability to just like do something and make consistent progress on it, I feel like some of it will come from schooling and the fact that when you get into a flow or get into something at school and you're really enjoying it, any activity, like any lesson, maybe it's art class, maybe it's PE, what happens is, unless you've been to some like interesting alternative school where children are allowed to, you know, go with their own flow and gravitate towards what they're truly passionate about and good at, which ends up being usually quite exciting when that happens. But yeah, essentially we get told like, no, you've got to go to maths now, or you've got to put your paints away, you made a mess, and you've got to tidy up and do this or that. And it just means that I've had a lot of anxiety and stress around like mess and chaos, and then finding the order therein when all that I'm used to is like, okay, well I can do this for a bit, but it can't be my main thing. Like it can't possibly be my main thing. And we really just need to give ourselves permission to like flow, but also permission to just focus when that's kind of called for. And I do find personally that the times in my life where I've said, even though I always have this like multiple different things on the go, like projects, ideas, mediums, disciplines, whether it's like a book or an album or a kind of like collaboration idea, or like this Heart School Creator Kin business kind of community, creative support stuff, I'll always have like multiple things on the go. It's also really important, unless you're just going to be like overwhelmed and like to actually pick some, focus, narrow down, put the blinkers on and like just do that for a bit. And this might not be good for everybody. Sometimes it's really good to chop and change and have a really mixed approach in your workflow and in your week. But for me personally, right now, like I've recognised that I need to just make Oval of album. And obviously there'll be other things that happen. Obviously I'm doing Creator Kin Heart School stuff week to week, day to day. And probably what I'd love is to have that as like my 1 day a week thing and 4 days a week for being an artist and creative person, and then just time to actually like flow and spend time with loved ones and in nature, and also have that as part of my daily practice each day. But it is just hard to give yourself permission to choose to do those things, because sometimes it feels like you can't get in flow because there are too many options. So this is just a little tip about the flowchart. I had this like probably next to my laptop, so anytime I'd go on, oh no, I actually had it as my background on my computer, so anytime I would go on there and start to like do something and get distracted in something that wasn't like my actual goal, which was to produce, finish, release an album, I kind of would see this and then I'd be like, oh yeah, okay, I'll do the album, rather than like, oh yeah, I'll just like look on jobs.ac.uk and apply for loads of random jobs, even though I've already got a job that I'm really happy with. Or ooh, maybe I'll like mess around my website, or ooh, maybe I'll go on Instagram and 3 hours later, where are you, still there or something. So yeah, just a couple of tips there, and tune in more for some exciting news and updates that are going to be in the pipeline around the Heart School Creator Kin transition creative community services on offer, because there's things happening and I'm not forcing it, I'm not rushing it, but there's going to be some cool stuff happening soon. So make sure you are subscribed to the mailing list, or you're like keeping your eyes peeled, because there'll be an invitation soon to join us in some wonderful creative support network, which is going to help take a lot of the content of these videos and like actually form like an accountability support network, helping people to like apply their focus, do the things that they want to do, and bring their creations forth into the world. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.